Right. So what we are going to be discussing this time around is what is called the. Remember in the last class we were able to see column charts, but if you go to the insert charts, we saw some stuff here. Okay, this is because it's not actual. Now, if you go to the column charts, there is something that we call. So okay, let's select our values first. Let's select this data. Let's go to recommended charts. Now, if you check this particular one, we call it the stacked column chart. Now, what does this type of column chart, what do they do? Now, a stacked column chart, they are used to highlight the total amount of contributions for each of the categories. Right, in our case, we have the male and then we have the female. Please, in the previous one, we saw that these are clustered column, right, where we have this the group. Okay, they were side by side, but this one is stacked on top. So a stacked column is used to compare part of a whole, use it to show how segment of a whole change over time. Now, in our case here, let's just click OK, so we can have our stacked column chart, right? They are usually used when you have more than one data. So you don't use stack column when we have a single one. For example, in the previous data set which we used, which only contain the blood group together with the average height in centimeters of a population, right? In that one, we only had a group where we have A, B, and then the O. Or in this case, we usually use it when we have more than one data columns, right? So in this case, we have two different data columns, which are the male and then the female. So, but when we are using it, we can try to display the total amount of the contribution. For example, in civil engineering, we have this orange color to represent the female. Now, if you check the male, we have the total blue bar here, which is around 70. Now, if you add the value up here to make up the whole number of students, right? So this is the total number of students we have in civil engineering will give us the value of around 81. All right. Then for mechanical, we have it to be about that should be 61. Then for here, we have it to be around 58 electronics. So these two these data columns, the values in these data columns, stacked on each other to give us a total data value. So that's it in when we are using the stacked column chart, right? Now there's another type of a column chart which we have, and we usually call that percentage, like the 100% stacked column chart. Now, what does this one do? So the 100% stacked column is used to highlight the proportion of contribution of each data column in a category, right? Let's go to insert, and then at the column chart here, we have here to we call it the 100% stacked column. So now once you click on it, so we have this. Let me quickly shift this one side, and then let's look at this 100% stacked column. Now looking at this, we have the values. Our data here has been converted to percentage. So our data has been converted to percentage, and at this point, remember we said that each of these groups are summed to 100%. All right. So how many percentage of, for example, in civil engineering, someone you can actually go into this visualization to look at civil engineering. So in civil engineering, everything here is in 100%. And what was the percentage of the male we have in the department? So let's assume that total is 100%. So here should be around, we have around 80, or let's say 80. This is 80 and this is 90. So in between here, half of this, let me zoom this out so we can see what is happening. So half of this should be close to. Now, the other way you can do this is to add other, let's say grid lines. For example, you can apply this primary, minor, horizontal, right? Now, if you look at this chart closely, we have here to be 80, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 80, 82, 84, around 86%, right? Around 86% are male, and the rest are what? Are female. Okay, now for mechanical, we can actually check that here is 90, So this is 92, or this 94. So in between should be around 93. Around 93% here are what? Are male, and then the rest is what? The rest is female. Now, if you check closely, we have here to be 57, and then we have 4. So 4 is very small compared to 57. That's why we have this little guy on top of this for the female. So this is how to read a 100% stacked column. So I believe I've been able to address the stacked column different types we have. We've talked about the usual stacked column, charts. We've also seen the 100% stacked column charts in Microsoft Excel. Right. I hope you enjoyed this part of the lectures, and I hope to see you in our next class.